Hi, everybody. So, this is Coffee with Lorelei number 4. And so, as always, I'm honored by all your questions. And I always like to say that I am not a DNRS trained coach. I'm not a registered clinical counselor. I'm not, a health practitioner for this type of thing. So, these answers are only from my experience and my journey. And, some some of the questions, I have more limited experience with, but I'm doing my best because I know that some of you cannot afford a lot of coaching. I mean, if you can, save up and squeeze in a coaching session or two, I highly recommend it. But these are just my best answers from my journey. So just take what resonates with you and leave the rest. And as always, there's of course limitations to this Q&A in that I might have misinterpreted your question and taken out of context, and you may not understand fully what I'm thinking about when I'm talking about my answer. So just take it all with a grain of salt. Okay, so thank you so much, and I am honored with all your questions. And so today's Coffee with Lorelei DNRS questions and answers is about training, and training questions. So I had quite a lot of these, and you're probably thinking, how many coffees with Lorelei is she going to do? So I had 78 questions from 23 retrainers before the Zoom meeting, and I sort of categorized them in different I categorize them into 8 categories. And so I'm trying to go, sort of category by category. And then I got, of course, a bunch of questions in the chat during the Zoom meeting. And then I actually had some questions submitted the same day as my speaking engagement because they weren't able to finish submitting the question before the Zoom meeting ended, or because they attended the talk and they had some questions and they were thinking about what I said. So I had extra questions submitted, and so then I also didn't get a chance to answer all the questions in the chat in the Zoom, which is about 5 extra questions. So I'm hoping to get this all done in about 6 coffees with Lorelei, and so maybe 7. We'll see how it goes. But I do thank you for your attention. And so the first question, so we're going back to my yellow category of its and training. And so this question is, did Lorelei do any specific training around energy-related ITs, or was that just something that resolved with training in general? How did Lorelei train around fatigue? And I had a lot of questions about fatigue. I got another one that was similar. Did you have to train around severe fatigue ITs, and if so, how? And another one about advice removing fear and shame about fatigue ITs. So that's a lot of those are big questions, really good questions. So yes, I actually did do a lot of training around fatigue. It was my main IT. I started having to train around sitting up, and then sitting up out of bed, and then standing, and then walking up and down the hallway, and then walking around my home. And I think, whatever IT you're training, or whatever IT you're trying to remove the fear and anxiety about, it doesn't matter what the IT is. You just want to make sure that you remove any negative associations with it. Let's say, for example, I am going to train sitting up out of bed. So I can imagine doing something super fun, like going to a birthday party and blowing out candles. And it's my birthday every day. So I get to sit up I get to like take some deep breaths. And you just want to remove any negative associations with the activity, and don't identify with it as you're training, as you're working on something that reminds you or re-identifies you with being broken. Don't do that. So I think for example, if let's say you're going to some place like a restaurant for and the noise is really loud and you're noticing some its, and then you can completely reframe it by saying, you know what, I am at an Academy Award celebration and I am receiving Best Actress or Best Director or Best Musician, and all these people are here to celebrate me, and they're going to clap and make lots of noise, and it's so wonderful. So if you can kind of, whatever you're training out for, remove any negative associations and reframe it. And remember, you're reframing the fear and worry and anxiety. Okay, so you're just going as how much you think your physiology has caught up to your rewiring. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So this person goes on to say, okay, so also when I was staying up longer and longer, if I started to get my its, and I would feel like, okay, I'm sort of reaching the edge of my, energy, physiology today, I would do rounds right away. And because I found that when I actually did the rounds and I changed my neurochemical cocktail in my brain, I actually felt better and I felt more energetic. So I removed I had two, kind of sometimes 3 spa times, and which I call my nap time because I didn't want to associate with napping. I was my spa time where I sit, relax, and go to the spa. So I would, as I neared a spa time, I would do rounds, and usually 2 back to back, because they increase more dose if you can do like 2 10-minute rounds produce more dose, I've been told by my coach, than one long 20-minute round. So I do back-to-back rounds, and then often I would get more energy and my its would subside, and then I would push the envelope to when I would need to lie down or need to have my spa time. So I also paced activities, and if after I did my rounds and I still felt like I needed to go have spa time, I would go lie down and just say, you know what, that's what my body wants today. Now, I didn't stay in my training zone 100% of the time, not at all. And you just have to take any fear and worry about that, because this is trial and error. Everybody strays out of their training zone. It doesn't matter. You just have to label it. I strayed out of my training zone. I have some its. It is not dangerous. Okay, it is not dangerous. I strayed out of my training zone. And then laugh about it. Go do some rounds and do what you need to see what your body needs. Okay. So I would. So I eliminated my morning nap time, my morning spa time, and then I had an afternoon spa time, and then I often rest in the evenings because I would just have enough energy to, watch TV in the evenings. So I would just start pushing all my spa times until it collapsed into one spa time, sort of later in the day, like around 4:30 or 5, and then I started shortening that spa time, and so and then I actually eliminated it. So. And then I started doing more things in the evening. I'd go for walks, I'd go to Pilates class, and, ride my stationary bike and cook, all these things, because my physiology was changing. Okay, so what did she do if she got out of her training zone? Back off or stop? So, nobody's journey is linear. And so I would be, I'd sort of get up to, walking a couple blocks, and then something would happen. I get more its, and I would have to back right off. and restart. And it was always sort of a series of ebb and flow with many of my its, and not dangerous. Okay, not dangerous. It just means you stepped out of your training zone, and your body's, and sometimes life happens. You've got other things going on. You've got family issues. You've got hormonal issues, because you're you're a woman in her 50s and you're going through some hormone changes. It's you don't may not always know what your training zone is that day, and you may not know why your training zone has changed. It's okay. You just ebb and flow. It's part of it. Just remember, you don't have to train on every single it. Okay, if you work on all the negative self-dialogue in your head and in all the core beliefs, and you're not feeding that limbic system of fear and worry all the time, your physiology will normalize. Okay, so if I plateau, what to do, and fear of failure again. I think I actually might have talked about this in my core beliefs coffee. So just remember, this is an exercise in rewiring POPs and core beliefs and past conditionings. Okay, you're not actually training the it. So you just have to kind of keep on rewiring and work on increasing your self-love, your self-care, your self-acceptance, your self-appreciation, your self-trust, and becoming one with your heart, body, mind, and soul, like I talked about in the celebrations talk. And focus on the incremental training secondarily, okay? Because of course you have to do both, because the neuroplasticity is you have to remove the bell, and you have to kind of remove that bell before, and the salivation will change. Okay, so you do have to do a lot of reframing, and just keep on remembering that incremental training is trial and error, and no one does it perfectly, and you are whole. And if you condition your body into the parasympathetic ventral vagal response and the polyvagal theory, your body will heal, and you'll move forward with your its, and you'll be able to incrementally train. So just say, okay, you know what? Going to try walking up a hill today, and maybe you can do that every week this month, but maybe you might back off another month. It's okay. It's like this. So I think that's and that leads me to the next question. How did she incremental train for hiking up the mountain? Exercise details, please. So I think I sort of talked about this a little bit more earlier. I started walking around with the house, because that's what my training zone was, and then I started going out down the driveway, and then down the street, around the block, and I slowly started going 500 meters walking, 1 kilometer, 1.5, and just started inching up, and just removing any associations with it. You're like, I'm gonna go for a walk today, gonna notice birds and flowers and butterflies, and let's see where life takes me. And if I want to stop and notice a dragonfly, that's fine, it's beautiful. And just really enjoy being in that activity and coming back. And some days I'd be able to do more, and some days I wouldn't. Going up from 3 to 5K, 6K, 7K, 8K, and then going up some local hills and smaller ones, and halfway up the hill, then all the way. And again, like I said, lots of ebb and flow. And then I started going faster. So it's just a matter of removing any fear and worry about the activity. Okay. Did you do more than 1 hour rounds every day? Yes, I did actually. And I still like to spend more time doing my meditations and my gratitudes and my rounds. I usually do about 1.5 hours a day. If triggered, were you able to do full rounds most of the time, or did you do more opposites and mini rounds? Yes, if I noticed if I was triggered, I would automatically try and stop, at least say the opposite, and smile. And so that I knew that my brain would notice I've stopped that pathway. Even if I was in a crowd or a restaurant or a shopping, a grocery store, I couldn't do a full round, and then I would do a little mini round, or at least I'd make myself laugh. Okay. So yes, very important, because you want to stop any of those you want to stop any thought or core belief or conditioning that triggers your fear and stress and worry response. Okay. Another question: how to stay focused when doing rounds? Limby interrupts often with negative thoughts or things needing to be done. Just saying silly limby or writing the thing to do is not decreasing this, even though doing DNRS for 2 years. So, do you have any suggestions? Okay, super good question. So often my limbic system was so triggered, I actually couldn't do a round, because I would start getting some fear and some worry and some stress or some shame, and my brain would go into a spinning mode where it just spin and it keep on coming back to it. It's like, okay, no, you said that, and she did that, and now she thinks this, and the taking everything personally and making assumptions, or something else, like something would trigger me, and so I would recite my core beliefs, and I usually found that would calm my limbic system right down, because I have this sort of set of, I think I've mentioned, 15, 16, 20 minutes of core beliefs and affirmations, and like I'm enough, I'm safe, I'm only responsible for myself, and I don't care what other people think, and I am true to myself, like a whole list of things. And usually I would find one as I was going through my list where I would feel my body relax, and I go, okay, I'm triggered in this manner. And then I would go and sort of do some curious observer internal questions about that, and that would calm me down. So then the other technique that I would do is I actually record all my rounds on my phone. I have hundreds of rounds recorded on my iPad and my phone, because I couldn't concentrate unless I felt like I was recording it. So I would record it using voice memo or dictaphone or something like that, and then I would actually be able to concentrate and get through the round. And then after the first round, I'd actually really be able to concentrate without recording it, or I record it anyway for my second round. So that was a really good technique that I used. And I know that the limby likes things needing to be done. Okay. Limby's so funny. So I think that's I have all the time and resources I need to be and do all that I meant to be and do. That's my opposite and my core belief for that. When my limby starts telling me that, it's like, and I go into realization that, hey, you know what? I can take 15 minutes out of my day to do this round, because my self-care comes first. My self-love comes first. And I need to do this, and everybody else and everything can wait. So I think that's part of it. It's not only the pop about scarcity, but also the pop about you are worthy to be put first. So if I hope that kind of helps. And then and I think another opposite that I often use was, sometimes my son was having some strong its, and I would start my fear and worry cycle, and then I just go back to my core beliefs about faith, and each soul must walk his own path. In everyone's life, a little rain must fall, and life is going to find him when it's supposed to. And there's a universal master plan, and he can let his life unravel so effortlessly and gracefully. And it's and I have this over responsibility pop of, I have to fix things, I have to take care of things, and just realize, you know what, I have to go back to my spiritual faith, and realize that some things are going to be out of my control, and I don't know what his soul wants. His soul wants to evolve too. My soul wants to evolve, and some things he's going to have to learn the hard way, and some things he's going to have to he can learn the easy way. But it's his journey, and so that was so it's sort of and saying like, oh, no one cares about clean baseboards but me. Or nobody cares that the house is a mess except me. 7 billion souls on this earth. No one cares that my house is dirty except me. So little things like that. Like you have, if you can just kind of find another reframe to kind of get your limby off that hamster wheel, that would be good. And if you have some things that need to be done, and write a list and try and get it out of your head and down on paper. And I think that's all the questions about ITS and training. Okay. And actually, I have a couple of some of the new questions. Okay. I've been so curious what others heals, POTS, ITS. Did you have another table tilt test after healed? And I'm curious about I think the curious question here is really sort of go into your be your curious observer and just kind of try and figure out if it's a pop that you almost need sort of confirmation or proof that POTS ITS can heal with DNRS. So of my POTS ITS are gone, and I know many transformed, recovered DNRS retrainers whose POTS ITS are gone. I don't know I didn't do a tilt table test, and I don't know if anybody of the people that I know who've been recovered have done a tilt table test, because I don't know why you would do that unless to prove to yourself. I'm not sure. Like I guess I'm trying to understand why you want to, because if they're gone, they're gone, and unless unless you're trying to prove to somebody, or if you want to do like running a marathon, and you're like, one of your goals is to run a marathon, and you say, okay, when I'm transformed, when I'm recovered, I'm going to run a marathon. So if it's for yourself and a celebration, then if you want to do it, great. But I wonder if you're doing it to prove to somebody else, or maybe you haven't embraced the fact that it can heal POTS ITS. So anyway, I think that is that one, and I think that's enough questions for today. I'm going to leave the other ones for the next coffee. So I just want to say thank you for joining me, and as I said, I have a very small view of the elephant, and if you have differing opinions than mine, I would love to hear them. I'd love to broaden my view of the elephant. And let's just finish off with a little gratitude. And I just want to thank you for honoring me with your questions and your time. And let's close our eyes and take a deep breath. And let's think of all the things we can be grateful for. And it's a beautiful day. And another great day to celebrate you and celebrate life. Thank you for all that we have in this moment. Thank you for who we are, what we can do, and who we can be. Thank you for this beautiful day. And it is a brand new day and a brand new us. And you can take a couple deep breaths and have a great day. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. So wonderful, this community. Bless you and have a great day.